Every single year, millions of health-conscious Americans walk into their local pharmacies and reach for the exact same translucent white bottle. They spend billions of their hard-earned dollars on a singular, highly publicized compound, believing a beautiful corporate marketing narrative that has been carefully spun for over 3 decades. You open the bottle, you swallow the capsule, and you wait. You wait for the morning stiffness in your knees to dissolve. You wait for the deep structural ache in your lower back to fade. And you wait for your hips to move with the fluid freedom of your youth. But for the vast majority of individuals over the age of 55, that breakthrough never actually arrives. Weeks turn into months. The financial investment compounds. Yet the agonizing, grinding friction inside your joint capsules remains completely unchanged. This is not because your body is broken. And it is not because joint degradation is an untreatable death sentence. It is because you have been fundamentally misled about how human cartilage actually repairs itself at a molecular level, and why relying on glucosamine alone is a biological impossibility. To truly understand why this isolated approach fails so completely, we must pull back the curtain on the multi-billion-dollar corporate supplement industry. The commercial marketplace has spent decades conditioning the public to look for cheap, single-ingredient magic bullets. They mass-produce low-grade, synthetic glucosamine pills, slap images of vibrant, smiling seniors on the labels, and distribute them to every grocery store shelf in America. But this isolated delivery model ignores the basic forensic reality of human biochemistry. When you introduce a single, unassisted molecule into a highly complex, deeply compromised biological system, you are not providing a solution. You are merely creating expensive cellular waste. Your body operates on a strict law of molecular synergy, meaning that without the precise cofactors, transport enzymes and cellular shields present at the exact same moment, an isolated nutrient is systematically dismantled and excreted by your digestive system long before it ever catches a glimpse of your damaged joint tissue. Before we investigate the remarkable cellular reasons why this isolated approach leaves your cartilage completely unprotected, take a brief moment to drop a comment below and tell us where you are watching from today, and please let us know. Have you spent months taking standard glucosamine or chondroitin supplements only to find that your morning stiffness and joint discomfort remained exactly the same? You would be deeply surprised to discover how many thousands of people are going through this exact same cycle of frustration right now, throwing away their money on incomplete pharmacy store formulas while living in absolute silence with a body that feels tighter and more restrictive every single day. The ultimate tragedy of this structural breakdown is where most people are forced to turn when their single-ingredient supplements fail. As the deep, grinding discomfort inevitably worsens, they leave the natural health aisle entirely and enter the conventional medical pipeline. They are quickly handed prescriptions for high-dose non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs or scheduled for invasive cortisone injections directly into the delicate joint space. But here is the dark, uncomfortable truth that the mainstream medical establishment will never openly discuss. They profit immensely from your ongoing physical limitations. Ibuprofen, naproxen, cortisone shots. None of these conventional interventions do a single thing to rebuild the structural foundation of your joints. They are engineered to do one thing: slash the neurological wires to your biological alarm system. They numb the nerves in your brain while the deeper, silent cellular fire continues to devour your cartilage tissue unchecked. Because a permanently healed, completely autonomous individual does not generate recurring pharmaceutical revenue. The chronic pain industry makes over $327 billion every single year, meaning your total unmedicated recovery is fundamentally incompatible with their long-term corporate business model. To unravel the forensic science of why glucosamine alone cannot save your joints, we must examine the actual architecture of the extracellular cartilage matrix. Cartilage is not a solid block of static tissue. It is a dynamic, fluid-filled web woven from specialized type II collagen strands and massive water-binding molecules called aggregans. At the center of this matrix are your chondrocytes, the solo-cellular workers responsible for building and maintaining this protective shield. Glucosamine is undeniably a vital component. It acts as a basic raw brick needed to synthesize new matrix fibers. But modern clinical trials have revealed a devastating catch. When an individual suffers from chronic joint discomfort, the internal environment of that joint capsule is not a clean, peaceful construction site. It is a biological war zone. A highly acidic environment overrun by rampant inflammatory signaling proteins and destructive enzymes known as COX-2 and 5-LOX. When you ingest an isolated glucosamine supplement into this inflamed, toxic environment, something biochemically disastrous occurs. The moment those isolated glucosamine molecules manage to cross into the joint capsule, they are instantly intercepted and completely incinerated by the raging cascade of cellular inflammation. Trying to rebuild damaged cartilage by taking glucosamine alone is the exact structural equivalent of trying to rebuild a house while it is actively engulfed in a roaring 3-alarm fire. It does not matter how many new bricks you drop onto the property. If you do not first deploy a powerful force to completely extinguish the flames, the raw materials will be destroyed before the workers can ever use them to lay a single foundation. To truly restore the smooth, effortless glide between your bones, science proves we must achieve two simultaneous biochemical milestones. We must forcefully down-regulate the genetic switches driving the inflammatory enzyme cascade, and we must deliver a perfectly balanced cluster of synergistic structural nutrients to protect and rebuild the matrix at the exact same moment. This is the exact point where standard nutrition ends, and the advanced science of molecular longevity begins. Peer-reviewed research from top clinical institutions demonstrates that when you break away from single-ingredient isolation and embrace targeted biological synergy, the cellular response changes dramatically. By fusing specific, highly concentrated botanical shields with pure structural precursors, you create a powerful molecular guard. These advanced botanical compounds work like a precision shield, binding to and neutralizing the destructive COX-2 and 5-LOX enzymes. This instantly puts out the internal fire, clearing out the toxic cellular debris and creating a calm, protected biological sanctuary within the joint capsule. Once the inflammation is silenced, the accompanying structural building blocks can finally reach the starved chondrocytes completely unharmed, allowing your cells to immediately utilize them to thicken the synovial fluid and restore the deep cushioning layer between your bones. The latest clinical data points to a very specific, highly advanced synergy of natural compounds capable of executing this precise double-action turnaround. It begins with specialized turmeric extract, meticulously engineered to achieve up to 10 times the cellular bioavailability of standard formulations, allowing its active curcuminoids to successfully cross the blood-joint barrier and systematically deactivate the root pathways of chronic inflammation. When this high-potency botanical shield is directly fused with glucosamine sulfate and chondroitin sulfate, the raw structural bricks are completely protected from enzymatic destruction, allowing them to immediately absorb into the extracellular matrix to rebuild fluid retention and repair compromised cartilage layers. To fully solidify this cellular defense, clinical studies highlight the inclusion of Boswellia serrata extract, a potent natural resin that targets the hidden 5-LOX pathway, while quercetin, bromelain, and methionine work in perfect harmony to clear out accumulated cellular debris and eliminate deep-seated tissue swelling. Attempting to hunt down each of these rare, clinically precise compounds individually in their correct therapeutic dosages and highly bioavailable forms is an exhausting and virtually impossible task for the average consumer. This exact, scientifically validated molecular synergy has been meticulously brought together into a single, premium formula created specifically for mature individuals who are tired of wasting time and money on incomplete single-ingredient options. It is a completely natural, comprehensive approach designed to quench the internal cellular fire and nourish the deep joint architecture from the inside out, giving your body the exact multi-targeted support it needs to restore that smooth, pain-free freedom of movement you thought was gone forever. If you want to explore this profound cellular science further and see how you can support your body's natural rebuilding process, we have pinned a link in the very first comment below. It will take you directly to the exact, trusted formula we have been referencing throughout this investigation. Take a look, examine the clinical science for yourself, and discover how you can finally move beyond the failure of isolated supplements.